Hi, I'm in the British Temperate Deciduous Forest today. It's November and it is really cold. It's the end of the growing season. If we look up, we can see there are some significant gaps in the canopy that have now formed. Most of the species here lose their leaves during the winter time. One or two, like the hollies, this one here, remain evergreen. This happens every year. The plants here, because it gets cold in the winter, plants decide they're going to get rid of their leaves. It takes too much energy to hold on to them, and they might as well make some new ones the next year. So these gaps in the canopy happen. We get these leaves fall to the forest floor. You can see this here. They then break down and form really deep and fertile soils. Some of the most fertile soils in the world. Certainly more fertile than the rainforests or even particularly the hot deserts. This ecosystem has facilitated the development and the exploration of the world, and this is why perhaps Western Europe is one of the wealthiest places in the world. We used to turn these trees into boats, which we could use then to go and explore and even colonize the rest of the world. We also use this soil that's under here, having cut the trees down, to turn into good farmland to grow crops. Now, the forest floor is actually really dark for most of the year. It's a bit lighter now because the canopy is thinned out, but it's often quite dark through most of the year. And that darkness means actually there's very few plants growing here. There's a couple of exceptions to that. We can talk about bluebells. Bluebells will grow during kind of April, May time. They take advantage of that little gap in opportunity to grow, where it is actually warming up, but there's also light coming through because the canopy hasn't filled out yet and the leaves haven't fully formed and grown. So they then take that opportunity to grow, and the forest floor becomes a mass of that purple, and people come to see the purple forest floor at that time. Now, I think these trees, this forest, is going to facilitate both the water and the carbon cycles. But over their lifetime, the tree is going to be carbon neutral. The tree takes in carbon as it grows and then releases it as it dies at the end of its life. A forest, though, is going to remain over generations, hopefully, if we don't chop it down, and therefore is going to be a store and a sink of carbon. The trees absorb that carbon as they grow. When they shed the leaves, those leaves decompose and they're going to release carbon back into the atmosphere. But then they'll grow new leaves, and so they'll take in that carbon the next season. So over the year there is a flux of carbon through a tree. But then when a tree dies, it's going to release the carbon slowly from the biomass store. Or if it burns via combustion, then perhaps it will release that carbon back into the atmosphere a lot quicker.